Shawn Ryan released a video of 5 minutes and 32 seconds, and I'll share with you pretty much what I feel the essential part of it, which is like 2.5 minutes. And if you wish, you can look it up for yourself. But essentially, in this video, he's accusing Congressman Crenshaw of failing to sign a waiver form that everybody on his show signs. And that's the focal point of the whole video that he put out yesterday. And he goes on the video to mention that prominent people, far more important and far more busier than Dan Crenshaw, all signed this waiver, and that he has to have this waiver in order for him to interview anybody. He goes to specifics and says, up and around episode 10 going forward, I think he has like 1,000 episodes or more. Who knows? I'm not really sure. I didn't get an exact number, but he talks about how everybody signed it, from President Trump to Tulsi Gabbard, even Hunter Biden, one of the most crooked people out there that you can that you can think of, signed the waiver. So that's how it all unfolded yesterday. What was the beginning of the whole dilemma with Dan Crenshaw? And then after Shawn Ryan's video that he says that he's not, another point that he made that I really agree with, we're not going to play these games. And part of what he alleges is that he had a feeling, he told his lawyer that he was going to get documentation up and around 10 o'clock on right before the interview, where he felt that people were not going to be, where Crenshaw's camp felt that people were not going to be paying attention and everything was going to be lost in the shuffle. And sure enough, in the back and forth emails, they did send out an email, I think it was December 31st at 10:11 p.m. Sean's camp to, I beg your pardon, Dan Crenshaw's camp to Shawn Ryan's camp about confirming and about the forms that needed to be signed. And the back and forth ensues. So the main allegation was that Crenshaw failed to sign that waiver that Shawn needs to go on his show. So Dan Crenshaw puts a video on his Instagram, I say about 2.5, 3 hours after Shawn Ryan put his initial video, and he put up a counter video of what was being alleged. And he said that at no point in time did he receive the updated forms because there was some language that they needed to update and insert into it. He said at no time did he ever get those documents for him to sign. And in the video, he's saying that, do you not want to still do this? We still have plenty of time to make the show, and make everything happen. That was Dan Crenshaw's allegation. And in the video, he also states that he agreed to everything. But here's the perplexing part that I start to kind of like side with Shawn Ryan. First, he brings up the fact that they were going back and forth over an ATV waiver form. And here's my thing. He said that he wasn't gonna be on the ATVs. He wasn't gonna use them. And here's my thing. If you're not gonna get on the damn ATVs, if the ATVs are, first of all, they're irrelevant to the whole situation. Why even bring it up? But if you're not gonna get on them, they have nothing to do with you. Sign the fucking thing. You're not gonna get on them, so how are you gonna be legally liable? Or I'm sure it's a release form. It's one of those forms that, you know, that I'm inviting you to get on ATV, but if you get hurt, I'm not responsible for your injuries. I'm sure it's one of those. So if you're not, and this is me speculating, I don't have evidence that that's the exact form. It's just to keep it real. But nevertheless, if you're not gonna get on the damn ATV, then why worry about it? Hey, sign that shit off for fine. I'm not getting on the ATV. It's got nothing to do with me. He brings that up. I thought that was just empty calories. Like, it got nothing to do with nothing. And then he talks about that in the final clause of the waiver form they were talking, it brought up the whole stipulation that if you're a congressman, that if you make a statement on the Congress floor, that you can't hide behind that. You can't get sued. So Shawn Ryan is essentially saying, well, I don't want you to hide behind that, your legal capacity as a congressman, and say that you were saying that as a congressman and you can't get sued. Again, I felt like this was empty calories. Like, why bring that up? And Crenshaw saying this in his video that has nothing to do with one another because I'm not on the House floor. Then what's the problem? But he states that he never got the forms. So what do we believe? That Shawn Ryan's camp is lying about the forms, that he never signed them? Or we believe Crenshaw? But as I mentioned on the top of the podcast, the reason why we're here in the first place, it's what's being diluted. And as of today, Dan Crenshaw is making a victory lap on social media. And you can go to his Instagram and see all this buffoonery. That he was afraid to debate me, that he didn't want to do the interview, tooting his own horn. And I'm thinking, like, let's say that for the sake of the argument, Shawn Ryan said, fuck it, I'm not doing the interview for whatever reason. You're still not answering the things that he called you out on, that a lot of people have called you out on. And let's get to it. One of the things that Shawn Ryan was questioning was the fact that he had Steve Aoki, a congressman making $174,000 a year. How could he afford to have Steve Aoki DJ at his 40th birthday party? How can a person with that salary afford something like that? That was one of the main questions. And how he got his wealth has been questioned by Tucker Carlson and others alike. Tucker, I'm not sure, but I think Tucker has called him out on it. This question has never been answered by him. And initially what happened, Shawn called him out on, how do you have this wealth? How are you able to afford this? And then he sends Shawn Ryan a cease and desist letter threatening to sue. And that's how this whole thing came about. Okay. So you still haven't answered that, Congressman Dan Crenshaw. So what is this victory lap that you're taking when you haven't answered the question that everybody's asking? And for that matter, in his defense, and I don't want you to think that I'm defending him, but he's not the only one. Just recently, Chip Roy called out Ilhan Omar, I think that's how you say her name, about her and her husband's wealth, how they incrementally have just grown their wealth over like essentially overnight. So he's not the only one. The AOCs of the world, a bunch of congressmen, Nancy Pelosi. It's well documented. All these people getting extremely wealthy, leaving as millionaires from Congress. That is the essential question that Shawn Ryan was asking. A lot of us are asking, and in a sense, it's a segue to my up and coming podcast, which I'm tackling how we have become a monarchy, how the elite politicians, the elite that rule us, because a lot of them has been there for almost their entire life. This is a monarchy. This isn't politics. And for the life of me, I don't know how they keep getting elected in their districts. Like, the people see no results and they see them enriching themselves and they keep voting for these people. But this is a broader conversation. How these ruling class politicians, and it's both sides. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's just the Democrats, and no. And this establishment uniparty monarchy with the past kings, how they talk about no kings, but we should be protesting the past kings, the Bushes, the Obama, the Clintons, all these legacy politicians that are running out there ruling the country year after year after year. I'm gonna tackle on that. I'm going to tackle that on the next podcast. But year after year, they keep ruling us and they keep and they just keep hanging around, and you felt that they're in the Biden presidency, like it was the Obama candidate, it was the Obama cabinet. I'm sorry, not candidate, cabinet. It was the Obama cabinet was their president, making rules, making policy, and it's funny how you have these clowns, these older people that came out and went in the No Kings protest. We are already on a monarchy. We already are experiencing that, and that's what people are tired of. These politicians that don't have our interests at heart, they're in there just to enrich themselves. They rub the backs of the military industrial complex, Wall Street, all these things that happen. But that's a broader topic that I'm fixing to get into. But it leads to the questions that are facing Crenshaw and many others, for that matter. So that's yet to be answered. Is beyond me why he's taking his victory lap as if he won something. Those questions are still lingering. He's not planning on answering anything because it's very easy to answer. Like, how do you have Steve Aoki? And let's say, for example, I'll use this example. The Miami Dolphins just hired Troy Aikman as a consultant. And let's say Troy Aikman's got a birthday coming up and he has Steve Aoki and says he's a consultant. Hey, you know what? The money the Dolphins gave me as a consultant, some of it, I'm using it as for my party to have Steve Aoki, and that's how I'm doing it. Crenshaw can come out and debunk everything right away. Why doesn't he? Especially in an election year. Why doesn't he? We don't have the answers, but we can come to a lot of conclusions. We can speculate on these things. And let me know what you guys think on the comments. What is it that you guys like what speculations, what enters your mind? And we can go back and forth on that. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But the interview is not going to happen. And deep down inside, I always felt like he wasn't going to show up. Because I know the questions that he's going to face. How can you make this amount of money and be able to afford this? It essentially seems like these drug dealers in the 80s in Miami, that these people will get here from Cuba and in 6 months they will have like Cadillac, a big house, and a super gold chain. Like, how are you doing that? You just got here from Cuba 6 months ago. And this is a lot of things that I saw in Miami in the 80s. So there's no answer to those questions, because the real answer is not a pleasant answer, and his answer is going to get people tossed in jail. But anyway, thank you for your viewership. Like and subscribe. Hit up on the comments any topics you'd like to see in the future. Hey, God bless America, and Happy New Year, people. Thank you.